Hello and welcome to this week's video. This is the first video that we are producing for ACRR Solutions. We are looking to produce more videos like this in the future in the hopes that this will be helpful and educational to you, our dear viewers. So, in this week, what I will be going through are the 7 areas of the business process and why you need to automate them. So, in every business, we believe here at ACRR Solutions, we believe that these 7 areas are very critical and you need to take a look at them so that you can identify what parts of the process you can automate so you can leave them being handled by automation processes or automation software, and then you can go on doing the more important parts of your business. So let's first talk about why it's important. So understanding, it says here, let me just close this one. So it says here that understanding these 7 areas of your business process will help you not only make the right priorities, but it will also help you look at what parts are taking too much time and yielding little results. Then, upon looking at those processes, you can decide whether you should automate these tasks or not. So it's really important for us, especially for a business owner, because you're spending money on doing these tasks. You would want to know whether or not you are getting the most out of what you're spending on these particular tasks. So let's go ahead and introduce what these 7 processes are. First, we're going to talk about the area of advertising. So, in the area of advertising, your goal, your priority is to discovery and attention. Basically, you want your business um, to get discovered by people. This is especially true if you are a startup business. If you're an already existing business, if you have a new product or service that you're launching, advertising is how you get people to know what these products or services are. Now, some of the platforms that are involved are search engines. This involves Google, um, Bing, Yahoo, and smaller ones like DuckDuckGo, AOL, and so on and so forth. The next one is digital ads. So it's basically the paid versions of the search engines like Google ads, Yahoo ads, Bing ads. Third one is social media. So with social media, it's actually a very broad term. It can talk about um, platforms like Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. It can also cover platforms like YouTube, Dailymotion. I know these are more streaming platforms or video content platforms, but they're pretty much being used as social media platforms now because people interact with one another in those platforms. Another, of course, the traditional ones are the physical methods like flyers, posters, and billboards. Then, of course, finally you have the TV and the radio. So your target in the area of advertising is your audience. We'll go more into that in terms of the automation. Let's look at the second area of your business that you need to take a look at. It's called marketing. And in the area of marketing, your focus is going to be keeping your leads interest, the contacts interest, and nurturing them until they schedule. It depends on how your marketing process is. It depends on whether you want them to get on a call with your salesperson, or for e-commerce businesses, typically you'd want them to buy the product that you are selling. So some of the platforms that you use in the area of marketing are emails. So you've got email marketing platforms like ActiveCampaign, Infusionsoft, HubSpot, MailChimp, Zoho campaigns, and so on and so forth. Another area is SMS. So you would typically want, if they contact you, if they reach out to you, one way of making sure that they stay engaged, aside from sending them emails, is also by sending them SMS. Now, there are countries where emails are a lot better to use for engagement. There are others where SMS is a better option. Like in the Philippines, um, even though business people still rely on emails, a majority do rely on SMS nowadays. The third one is chat. Of course, you've got WhatsApp, Skype, and all these other platforms. Viber is very popular in the Philippines. So that's that. And of course, you still need to engage with them in social media, like Facebook. If you got Facebook Messenger, so every now and then you want to message them, set up a campaign so that it sends a chat blast to your audience. And then CMS is basically what CMS means is content management system. And when you hear CMS, you're basically talking about websites. So your website is your primary marketing tool. And all of these other platforms that I've mentioned are essentially pointing to your website. The goal of marketing is to get more traffic to your website. And on your website, they could go ahead and either buy the product or schedule an appointment with your salespeople. Finally, of course, landing pages. Landing pages are more like one page websites that are focused on one specific goal, which is to market. Now, in marketing, if in advertising you're targeting an audience, a more broader audience, now with marketing, once you capture their attention, they found you and you capture their attention, you got them to click on the ad, they now become a lead. And your goal in marketing, again, is to nurture that lead so that they move on to the next step of the business process, which is sales. So, sales, if marketing is about getting their interest, sales is about getting them to act and converting them into customers. So, with sales, typically you would have salespeople calling, texting, setting up appointments with your contacts so that they keep the engagement here is really more intense when you compare it to marketing because you don't want to lose the attention of your audience. So some of the platforms that you use here are CRMs. CRM means a customer relationship marketing platform. Examples of CRMs are like what I mentioned before: HubSpot, Keep, you've got EngageBay and Sitely. So these platforms are very helpful because you can compile basically your engagement with your contact to make sure that you don't miss anything and they don't fall through the cracks. Of course, part of what you do in CRM is send them emails, send them SMS, you schedule meetings or appointments. And for this, sometimes my clients would use a third party system in setting up appointments if their CRM doesn't have one. Typically, CRMs do, but sometimes they use Calendly or One's Hub, schedule ones. Another platform that you typically see, especially if it takes a longer nurture, is a proposal software, proposal building software, um, wherein once the person gets really interested, the salesperson sends them a proposal, and when they sign the proposal, the deal is done, which then moves them to the next business process. And this is called fulfillment. Now, once your prospect becomes a customer or a client, you are now going to deliver the agreed product or service that you promised or your salesperson promised to them. So, platforms that are commonly used in the fulfillment stage or the fulfillment area are project management software. So, you've got platforms like Asana, you've got Trello, um, what the other Basecamp, very popular project platforms, which are very useful because you're able to track what's going on with the activities after a person a contact or a lead or a prospect becomes a customer or client. That way, you can also um, streamline the process to make sure that all the necessary tasks are done. Another area, of course, the CMS or the website is still very much involved in the fulfillment section because, for example, in an e-commerce business, the website is typically where the first part of the fulfillment happens. When they order, they get a confirmation, and then the website throws the data onto your project management platform so that you know what to do next. Now, the third part is the help desk. So, the help desk is a platform that is commonly used to communicate with existing customers or clients. If CRMs are normally used for leads and prospects, help desks are more tailored to resolving cases. And then finally, of course, you've got third party services. If, say, you are delivering a physical product, then you may be calling someone else to deliver the product on your behalf. Or if you are delivering something digital, you may be using another software. Like, for example, if you are selling a course, then you use something like a Kajabi or Teachable to give them access to that course so they can watch the course. So this is the area of fulfillment. The next part of the next area, after they become a customer, of course, you don't just want them buying one time. You would want to also focus on the area of service. Now, service, the goal in the area of service is retention and upselling. So you're not just here to keep your customer or client happy, you would want them to upgrade. If you have other products or other services, you would want them to upgrade. So some of the platforms that are used in this area are your help desks. Of course, the help desk software, an example of that is Zendesk. Another example is, uh, let me see, you've got Georgia's. Um, I used to have one. I currently use Zoho Desk, so that's really a good one to use as well. But you basically have those primary ones. And then, of course, you have your chat platform so that they can reach out to you in real time. Typically, help desks are more email based, but there are help desk platforms that include chat and calls, so you can do that. Of course, social media is also another channel or platform that you would want to use so your customers can keep in touch with you. You can also use that so that you can send them promotions. I actually forgot to put here, but email marketing platforms are still very important. And then KV platforms, forums and KV platforms are areas where you can store topics, blogs, or articles so that you don't, if you have an issue that is commonly occurring and you know what the, essentially what the, how would I say it? What the solution is, then you could create an article, post it on your KB platform or your knowledge based platform so that your customer can simply go to that, follow the article, and then resolve the issue on their own instead of having to reach out to you. The next area for service is the area of finance. Now, to be honest, this is the area that I know very little of because I am not really, I haven't really touched this area, although I have automated certain parts of the finance for some of my clients. So I'll be very brief on this area. Guys, let me know in the comment section what you think I should add in the finance area. So the finance area is all about billing and invoicing. It's pretty simple. Everything that's related to money. So some of the most common platforms that are in use are, invoice software. You have QuickBooks, Zoho Books, and other invoicing platforms. You have payment portals like Stripe, PayPal, and all those other credit card uh, platforms. Of course, you have the salary platforms like Wise. PayPal's another way to transfer your salary, or if you hired your people from third party platforms like Upwork or Freelancer, they have a payment portal or a salary uh, platform there as well. So that's pretty much what is covered in finance. And then finally, the seventh area of your business is called management. So management is basically every other task that is not covered by all these other six areas. So you've these are more for the internal parts of internal workings of your company and any other staff or affiliate related activity. So some of the platforms that are commonly used here are time trackers. PM software are basically just shortened project management software. You've got hiring platforms, you've got Hubstaff, Upwork, Freelancer, forums and KBs. Like in service, you also use forums and KB portals, and I think this is really important for your staff because this is where you can store your business or your company SOPs, standard operating procedures. So when there's a new staff member that gets hired, you can just direct them to the KB portal, makes so that they can read some of the onboarding articles, or you can also create videos like what I'm doing right now, so that you can onboard them to your company. So this is really more for staff and affiliates. So these are the seven areas. Now let's go into each of the areas to see some examples of how we can automate them. Let's start with advertising. So again, with advertising, the goal is to get people's attention so they notice you in your business and then get them to send an inquiry either through the ad or by directing them to the contact page of your website. So some of the areas I'm going there are actually a lot of areas you can automate, but I'm going to provide two examples for each area. So one example is the data transfer or synchronization between your advertising and marketing platforms. What does that mean? Let's say you posted an ad on Facebook, and then typically when you post an ad on Facebook, you can create a form where they need to fill out their first name, their name, their email, and phone number. So without automation, without integration, what would normally happen is they would get stored in Facebook, and you'd have to manually go in there, get the data, and then upload them or import them to your uh, marketing platform or your CRM. When you automate that portion, and by the way, it takes, especially if say you ran an ad and you got like 1,000 contacts, it does take a bit of time. Of course, it's a lot easier if you bulk update them, but you have to make sure that you prepare the files, the CSV file very carefully so that there are no errors when you're trying to upload. So that's one. The second one is the first contact communication between your business and your audience member. Now, this is very important because when somebody notices your ad and then they click on the ad, no, you would want to personalize the experience by letting them know, hey, we got your attention. Thanks for having your attention. We know you're here. We're taking care of you. So typically, you can build chatbots. If this is in Facebook, you can build chatbots. If say it's on the website, after they fill out the form, you would want for them to land somewhere where it doesn't just say, "Hey, thank you for submitting," and then nothing else. You would want it's either um, the page that they land on, the thank you page they land on, has additional information, or the how would I say it? Or that the after they submit the form, even if they land on a simple thank you page, you have an automation running that sends them either an SMS or an email that tells them, hey, thank you so much for inquiring. We really appreciate it. Let's go and schedule a call or whatever it is in the next step of your funnel. So that is, uh, these are just some two examples of um, areas you can automate in advertising. Let's go to the next area, which is marketing. So, marketing, again, the goal here is to retain your leads' interest enough to get them to book an appointment or to buy your product or service. So, now in this area, there are actually quite a lot of areas to automate. Um, Personally, I've been doing process automation for about 7 years now. And so I find marketing to be the area which you can automate a lot of stuff. Of course, there is still, it's really still important to have a human touch, but marketing is the area where you can automate a lot of things, because the automation software, the marketing platforms typically have ways so you can personalize your messages so they don't sound robotic, or they don't sound like they came from an automated software. So some areas you can automate, just again, two examples here are the intake process, which answers the question, hey, what happens when the lead inquires on your ad on your website? Like I mentioned earlier with the advertising integration. The next one is the nurture process. So the nurture process is very important because when somebody inquires on your website, or when somebody inquires on your ad, that does not necessarily mean that you already got their attention and they're going to buy. So typically, what would happen is, they would inquire, they just want more information, and when they get the information, they have, two choices. They would either move on, they're not interested. So the nurture process is what keeps them engaged. It's what keeps them involved, because in the intake process, you really can't give everything immediately. So the nurture process is where you send a series of emails or a series of text messages, or whatever messaging channel you want to use, wherein they learn more about the process, the product or service that you're selling them, and alongside that, you also throw in bits of salesy language to get them interested. So typically there are two types of nurture processes: the long-term nurture and the short-term nurture. Short-term nurture usually takes about a week or two, um, anywhere between 5 to 10 emails that goes out every 2 days or 3 days, depending on how often you want them to get emails. And most of the language in those emails are salesy in nature. So the long-term nurture, on the other hand, is really more value driven. So, okay, if they don't really want, for now, they don't want, they're not interested, you put them into a long-term nurture so that they keep in touch with your company through your emails. So that is, those are just some of the areas you can automate in marketing. Let's move on to the area of sales. So the area of sales is where more human activity is involved. So I often tell my clients, because there sometimes I do have some clients telling me, hey, can we automate a lot of the parts here, a lot of the processes in our sales process. I would often tell them that in the area of sales, the best places to automate are really the follow-up tasks. But in terms of your communication, I would rather that you communicate with them directly, because the area of sales, remember that the goal in the area of sales is to get the prospect into a buying mood so that they buy your product or service. So you don't really want um, any form of robotic message going through. um, Notifications are probably okay, but ideally you would want a human being reaching out to them. Otherwise, they would lose interest. So, the areas to automate with sales are really the follow up process. So, say the agent completes a task in the CRM. You can automate it so that it automatically, depending on the outcome of the task, you can create another task for them to do, either to call, to set up a new appointment, or to move them somewhere else in the pipeline. Or you can also do an immediate response process, The immediate response process, this is the only area I would say would be the communications that you would want to automate in the sales process. Um, if if say the prospect contacted you, reached out to your salesperson, and the salesperson was not available, you would you would want a system set up so that that prospect is notified, hey, he's not here right now, but he got your message. He'll definitely get back to you as soon as he's back in the office. Something like that. So these are just some of the processes that you would want to automate. But typically, it's really the processes that you can automate in sales are depending on the movement of the prospect in the sales pipeline. The next area that we want to talk about is fulfillment. So, what are the areas that you can automate in fulfillment? Now, again, fulfillment, of course, is the delivery of product or service. So, now what you are focused on in the fulfillment area of your business is automating task creation. So, for example, somebody becomes a client. You can send data to your project management software. Okay, create this project folder, create these tasks that need to be done if you have a business process already set up. And if one task is done, you can automate essentially what happens next. So that's the project manage fulfillment process. The customer and client follow up is okay after we finish. Oh, sorry about that. After we finish one task, uh, what happens next, or how do we let the customer know? Very important that this is especially true if the fulfillment takes a while, because clients and customers want to remember that it's normal, and this is especially true for e-commerce clients who buy stuff online and then get delivered to them. They would want to know. Walmart actually does a great job at this because they have a system that automatically sends an email every time the product moves along the project fulfillment, um, the fulfillment process. So the client follow up is simply an automation that anytime something happens in the project management software, it throws data to the help desk and informs the customer or client what's going on. Next part is service. Okay, so here another area that's really important to have automations in, because the again the goal of service is to retain your client, keep them happy, no, so that they continue patronizing your products or services. So some of the areas you can automate in this are, again, the immediate response process, similar to how you do it with ads. You would, of course, more importantly, do it for your clients or customers, that when they reach out to you, you have something that lets them know, a system that lets them know, hey, although we're not around, especially if they message us on off business hours, you would want to let them know, hey, we got your message, don't worry, we'll take care of this. At the same time, you would want a notification sent to you. um, of course, when you log in the morning, you check your uh, help desk to see what tickets were created. But also, you'd want to send. I often notify my clients. You'd want to at least have a notification sent to you as well. This is so that if a client sends or a customer sends something that's critical and urgent, you can attend to it as soon as possible, and you don't have to wait for the next business day to take care of it. And then, of course, the follow-up process, similar to the project fulfillment or the sales process. It's basically, let's say you need to do a back and forth between you and the client regarding a certain request or concern. You would want to have a follow-up process if they don't respond immediately, or if it's taking long for you, uh, if the holdup is on your side, you would want notifications getting sent to you and your fulfillment team, so that they know, hey, we haven't updated this client. It's been a week. We need to say something. So that is those are just some of the examples. Um, Again, the next part is finance. Here, of course, everything that's about money. The only two areas, of course, these were the areas that I actually automated for my clients. So you can uh, give me more information. I'd really appreciate that and thank you in advance. So some of the areas to automate in the area of finance is data synchronization between platforms. So if say the client purchases something on your website, you'd want that reflecting on all the other platforms to let you know, hey, a sale was made. Um, or if because there will be definitely something else that will happen after that. And the next one is payments made to staff. This is really important. We live in an age, especially if you're running a large company, where you would want to automate the salary payment, so that you don't have to spend hours in a like take a day and spend hours on trying to figure out how much you're going to pay your staff. So this is the area of finance. And finally, it's the area of management. So the area of management is again every other area that is not covered by the first six areas. Oh, there should be six areas. I'm sorry. This is not for seven. This is the seventh area. So everything else, the seventh area is everything that is not covered by the first six areas. So two examples is of course this is really more internal related. So you've got time logs, making sure that that they accurately reflect on your project management platforms. And then you have the movement of internal tasks. So if you have that on the fulfillment process, you also have a fulfillment process for your internal projects. So once again, these are the seven areas of your business that you need to look at and important to automate so that you can focus on doing the more important parts of your business. So, are you interested in learning more about automating your business process? So, if you are, simply contact us at assist@acrrsolutions.com or go to our website at www.acrrsolutions.com /contact. You can also visit our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/ACRR Solutions, or you can visit our LinkedIn page at linkedin.com /company /ACRR Solutions. So once again, thank you so much for watching this video. And here at ACRR Solutions, we provide powerful solutions for your business process needs. Thank you so much for watching.